Welcome back to Studio Fundamentals. In this video, we're going to go over the most critical keyboard shortcuts in Studio to make sure that you're able to create music quickly. So to start, let's drag a song onto the timeline, and I'm going to double click on the clip and go to Insert All to bring all the stems onto the timeline. So the first set of keyboard shortcuts that are really useful are the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. These toggle all of these individual panels that you can see on the screen. 1 is the Create panel, 2 is the Workspace, 3 is the Timeline, and 4 is this Details panel on the right. So let's close the Create panel, the Workspace, and the Details panel by pressing 1, 2, and 4. Now we have the timeline focused in our view. The other command to navigate the layout is the Backtick right below the tilde on a Mac keyboard. If I click that, it's going to flip my layout to have the timeline on the bottom and have these 3 panels across the top of the screen. Some people prefer it this way. I like to stick to the vertical layout. Next, let's talk about playback. I can click anywhere on the timeline to move the playhead, and then I can click Spacebar to play it from that location. So the playhead is also your cursor. So let's say I wanted to split a region of one of these stems out. I could click on the bar line that I want to split it and do Command E to create a split. Maybe I'll split this one too over here. And keep in mind that I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to be using Command, but on other devices, this might be the Control key instead. So let's go ahead and listen to this little section that I've split out. And to solo this track, I'm going to do Command Shift S. And that's going to mean that I can only hear this track. Great, it's this little percussion loop. If I want to duplicate this little region, I can do Command D to duplicate it out to the right. I can also duplicate it by holding Option as I click and drag on something to drag a copy of it somewhere else on the timeline. So now we can hear what this loop sounds like in this other region of the song. I like that actually. And if I wanted to mute this track instead, I could do Command Shift M or click this little speaker icon on the track to turn it off. And I just did Command Shift M again to turn it back on. Finally, if I want to turn the metronome on and off as I'm playing my track back, I can either click these vertical lines down here, or I can press C on my keyboard to toggle it on and off. So let's mute the drums. Command Shift M, I'll mute the percussion, Command Shift M as well, and let's turn on the click. It's not real, but it's close. The metronome is super helpful if you're recording onto the project or you're trying to get a feel for the BPM of the song when you don't have any drums or percussion present. Speaking of tempo, everything in Studio is snapped to the grid. This means that when you record audio or you upload audio from your computer, we analyze the downbeats and try to ensure that everything lines up automatically by default. But sometimes we get this wrong, or sometimes you just want a little bit more control. So if I were to split up this percussion track manually and move it around, if I click and drag, you can see that it's got these little snaps where it'll snap to the grid lines. This is to keep it in time with the rest of the song. So if I drop it on any of these snaps, it should continue to sound just like it did before. But if I want to get really granular, maybe I want to adjust it just a tiny bit, I need to hold Command to prevent it from snapping. So here I'll hold Command, I'll click and drag, and I'm just going to move it a little bit early. In some genres of music, having the snare or the percussion a little bit early kind of creates this feeling of energy and pace. So let's listen to this now. Cool, so now that percussion is hitting a little bit on top of the beat. So that's it for now. Hopefully this speeds up your workflow and allows you to create music with even less friction than before. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you learned something. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, and I or another team member will make sure to address it. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.